Hello friends, so regarding the new INICET pattern, I'm sure this has come as a shocker to all the INICET appearing students because this is like the last minute change. But at the same time, I believe that we have been wired to face these last minute shockers and the challenges. So here are a few tips on how to tackle this new INICET exam pattern. Now, first of all, I believe that this has been done basically like this is a beta testing for the upcoming next exam, and they want to try and implement what works well, what does not work well, and based on that, probably they would be deciding for the upcoming next exam. So the pattern is basically the 200 questions are divided into 4 blocks of 50, 50, 50 each and 45 minutes each block. Now, the catch here is each block basically is of 45 minutes and you can access the questions, review the questions, answer the questions of that block only during those 45 minutes. That means once you go from block 1 to block 2, you won't be able to see the questions of the block 1 or change the answers or review them. Right. So now basically instead of, previously we used to keep the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes for review. Now you will have to keep the time for review in every block. Now the maximum time I believe that you can do that is 5 minutes. So 5 minutes in each block, that's a total of 20 minutes basically that you'll be keeping for review. So the learning point here is in each block, try to keep as many less questions as possible for review. Once you have read the question, trust your instinct and go for the answer. Only if you think कि मुझे इसका आंसर नहीं पता है, I don't know the answer to this question, this seems like very alien question, then skip those questions and leave those questions, and last if the time permits, you think that I need to answer this, depending on how your entire block went, because you also have to see the number of questions that you are attempting. So if you think that the question was right, you've been doing very well, you're confident in majority of the questions, so probably you can take a chance there because then the negative would be less there. Right. So depending on the difficulty level of the paper, you'll be deciding, how many questions to attempt in a particular block. And at the same time, remember that this INICET is going to be more of a test of mental resilience and how well you can stay in the present without thinking about the past block or without getting worried about the future block. So basically, this is one exam with 4 mini exams in that. Because 45 minutes is like one mini exam that you have there and immediately you are going to the next exam, right? So you don't have to worry about the past block, the previous mini exam, because you cannot change anything about it. At the same time, don't let that affect. Also, don't get worried about, how will be the next block. You never know, right? It might happen that your first block was very difficult, but the rest of the 3 blocks might be very easy. So don't get panicked if your first block, your first few questions are difficult. So most important, like I said, it's a mental resilience and how well you stay in the present is important during this exam. And this is a chance for you to get a good score in INICET because majority of the students, especially the ones who are over ambitious, they get panicked thinking about itni mehnat ki entire time mein, now the pattern has changed suddenly and how will I fare now? So if you stay calm during this new pattern, it can turn like your winning edge for you. So make sure that's the most important thing during this exam. And this pattern very much is like USMLE exam, where you have the questions in blocks. So I think the next pattern basically they are trying to implement on the USMLE pattern, and that's why this beta testing that's happening during this INICET exam. So remember these few points when you give the exam. And regarding the time management, you have 50 questions, 45 minutes in each block. So for the initial 10-15 minutes, right, so till you reach the 30 minutes, you might have questions which are left more, but as soon as you go beyond 30 minutes, right, the timer will show you how much time is remaining. So from that 45 to 30, you might have more questions remaining, like, at 32 minutes, you have 35 questions remaining, something of that sort. But when you come below 30, like 29, 28, 25, 20, and so on, remember this has to reverse. So when that is happening, it's an indication that you are on the right track and your time speed is good enough. So like when you reach to 25 minutes, it should not be 27 questions, 28 questions, 30 questions remaining. It should be 24, 22 questions remaining. So like beyond that 30 minutes ka timer, I would suggest you try to reverse the question number and the time that is remaining. Right, the questions should be less, the time should be more, so that then at the end you'll be able to save those 5 minutes for review. And please also remember that in INICET, the questions that you keep for review are not considered for evaluation or scores. So make sure you don't keep the questions for review in INICET. The minimum that you would keep, the better it is. Right? And always the first instinct is the best. So try to trust that and don't overthink and change your answers during the review. So those were some quick tips on how to tackle the new INICET exam pattern. At the end, remember that you are not alone. Everybody is going to face this new pattern. So everybody is sailing in the same boat. It's just the test of your resilience and how well you stay in the present that's going to be tested in this INICET exam. And at least in the mock test, the majority of the questions seem to be of single option correct. So I think it's a win-win if it's a single option correct. It becomes easier rather than the multiple options correct that we get in INICET generally. But we never know, we might get that shocker in the exam hall itself. Ki blocks bhi aaye aur saath mein multiple options correct bhi aaye. So be ready for whatever it is. The best way to do that is remember that I am not alone facing this. Everybody is going through the same thing. The more calm I remain, the better I would perform, and treat this INICET like a mock test for your NEET PG exam so that you don't attach too much importance to the results and it does not affect you a lot. Give in your best shot, but at the same time, don't let it affect your mental health. So that was some quick tips here. I hope these help you, and please keep this in mind for your upcoming INICET exam. All the very best. Keep studying, keep revising, and keep winning. Thank you.